Oh, here we go. There we go. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yes,
Okay,
and
cool. Lindsey, can you turn your, you don't have to, but can you turn your screen on?
I can. You don't want to see me. I look terrible. I'm sick.
You don't have to. I'm
I
sorry.
am, I am gonna actually. It's so funny. I am gonna take and real quickly get my photo up so you can see my pretty face.
Oh, perfect. Okay, good. Good.
Edit
Okay, I'm starting the Clubhouse, so I'm going to mute this and talk to y'all on Clubhouse.
okay.
Start the room
and I'm gonna try to figure out how to make my.
and add friends.
Okay.
Perfect. Uh-oh. Okay, now mute your computer. Perfect.
So we should be good.
Uh-oh. I don't know if that's going to work.
That's because you have to mute yourself too.
Maybe mute yourself on here, Casey. Try that.
Mute my cell phone, you said?
Yeah, try, well, Well, I don't hear it now. Try talking again. Hi, Brad. Hi, Lolita. Okay. And I invited Lindsey. Hey, Lindsey, add. Oh, I guess you don't have to. Okay. Yeah, you do need to be. There we go. Okay. Can y'all hear me on Clubhouse? You can hear me? Okay, cool. Oh my gosh, trying to get these all going. Okay, guys, so new update. We are going to be streaming to Facebook, LinkedIn. We're live on YouTube right now. What else? A couple Facebook groups. I'm on Twitter, I think, too. And then we're also live on Clubhouse. So reaching y'all in basically anywhere but Instagram Live. I guess we can figure that out too, Casey, next week. So I am Hallie Beeler McCrory. I am a realtor in San Angelo, Texas with eXp Realty, and I'm known for doing 90 deals a year in a small town. And I've got my co-host Casey Stiers on here. She is the downtown guru and works all of North Carolina. And then we have our special guest, Lindsey Hollin, on. So Lindsey is actually one of our Texas managing brokers, and she is a farm and ranch specialist. I'm going to add that to the stream. Perfect. Cool. And yeah, she is the founder and the team leader of Texas Rural Land Sales Group. She's also one of my mentors. I guess, Lindsey, we'll let you give a little background on yourself, but if anybody's curious, Lindsey is based out of Fredericksburg, Texas, where it is just absolute farm and ranch heaven. Lots of wineries. It's like the Texas wine country. Yeah, I'll let Lindsey kind of give a little introduction on herself as well. You there, Lindsey?
I'm sorry, this is all new to me.
I know it's a lot of screens.
Yeah, going. So I'm definitely getting with it. So I am very excited to be here. Girls kind of through. Thank goodness I'm technically an elder millennial, so I can kind of handle the rolling with the punches. So I'm actually like trying to get my you guys started StreamYard, which is cool. I'm actually going to start doing StreamYard for our farm and ranch meetings and classes and some of our educational pieces. So I'm very excited that you guys are doing StreamYard as well. So
yes.
Yeah, I'm trying to get signed up. So I'm sorry that you don't see a video of me yet. However, I do have some collateral presentations and a few items I'd like to share with y'all.
Awesome. Okay, perfect.
So I will get that rocking and rolling. I literally just got my StreamYard link. So I'm trying to get that set up while I'm on the phone with y'all. But okay, I am good. Over the moon. Thank you, ladies, for having me. So my background, I started in real estate in 2015, and simultaneously my niche market was starting in Farm and Ranch. So, like Hallie said, I am based in the heart of the Texas Hill Country. My background is mainly hunting properties. My clients, my sphere of influence when I came into real estate, I was a competitive shooter. I shot in college. I've been shooting since I was 5 years old. I've been an outdoor girl, been hunting, fishing. So my people, my sphere of influence, just huge when you come into any market in real estate. That was my niche and my group, and that's where I started. So being in the Texas Hill Country, obviously there's a lot of hunting properties. It's very beautiful. So not only being this central hill country location is my regional background, but Premier Hunting Ranches is my specialty because of my experience in the hunting and gun world,
right,
so to speak. Also a little background on me. I actually did not grow up in Texas. I grew up in something very similar and rural and crazy. I grew up in the swamps of South Florida, actually at the headwaters of the Everglades, which was very interesting.
Love it.
Very interesting upbringing. So, ironically, parts of Florida are very similar to Texas. Agriculture, obviously, a lot of rural areas.
Yeah. What is
cattle.
What is the agriculture like? What do they grow in Florida? Does that like make sense, or like what do they grow? You know what I mean?
Actually, Florida is one of the largest sugar producers. Sugarcane is huge south of the lake because it's swampy.
Oh,
so
okay.
some of the largest sugar producers are there, and we're talking about worldwide sugar production. So that is a very interesting agricultural avenue that most people don't realize Florida is used for.
Right.
Also, too, you got to understand the soil is very fertile. We get plenty of rain and plenty of sunshine. So obviously, citrus is huge.
Yes.
Also, a lot of your squashes. Pretty much the sky's the limit. There is a lot of actual farming of crops done in Florida, as well as hay production and things like that. On the flip side, agricultural, cattle is huge. A lot of California and Texas buy, their mama cows and baby cows from Florida and then raise them over in Texas.
I had no idea.
Yeah. So Brangus, Angus, Brahma are very big producers in that swampland. Mind you, we have grass. We don't have a lot of droughts ever. And also there is some production in dairy. And then in central Florida near the Ocala area, it's basically like a little Lexington, Kentucky. Like it is all amazing and beautiful horse farms.
Oh my gosh, I had no idea.
Yes, and then there is a hunting dynamic to Florida. Obviously, we have hunting and fishing. So people wanting agricultural properties. Not to geek out on what I know, but there's 4 breeds of turkeys in the United States, and like if you're a hunter, you want to get all the breeds. And one breed is called an Osceola turkey, and it can only be found in Florida. So that is that's the type of hunting. Turkey hunting is huge. Dove hunting is also huge, just like in Texas.
Yeah, just like
hogs are out of control. Alligators out of control. Duck hunting, obviously, Florida is all water, so duck hunting is huge there too. So I can go on and on about just the outdoor and agricultural impact Florida has, and how it's very similar. Like when I moved to Florida, because I was training for the Olympics. When I moved to Texas, when I was training for the Olympics, when I got to Texas, I'm like, wow, this is really similar to my lifestyle and the people that I grew up with.
Right.
So, Texas show cattle, the South Florida Fair, just like over here, I have the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. Just the dynamic. It was very easy for me to fit in, and the lifestyle was extremely similar, whether it be in agribusiness Also, development was huge. You got to think all these massive Florida communities started as a big ranch. So even on the development side.
True.
So yeah, that's kind of like my background as far as how I morphed into that. One thing that also a lot of people don't know about me and my land background is my father is actually famous for surveying the Everglades. So I spent a lot of time. It's actually really cool. He's a bucket of knowledge about some of the most remote places in Florida. Excuse me. So I grew up on the land and really taking a hard look of what the land included,
right?
From the groundwater on up.
So we talk a little bit. I know you didn't really mention it in your bio, but you just said something about it. So you were on the Olympic training team for shooting. Is that?
Yes. So I shot in college, which there's several, kind of like swimming. Mm-hmm. There's all sorts of strokes, and you can be good at one stroke or all of them.
Now you're speaking my language.
So in college, I shot all the disciplines of shooting, and I did very well. And they put me on the Olympic development team, where I specifically learned how to shoot the Olympic style of trap and skeet shooting. So from 2004 to 2008, I served as an ambassador on the United States Olympic Development Team.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool.
Thank you. I got to meet some amazing people, and it's really where my big sphere of influence started. Because being in the industry that you love with like-minded people, and then just networking with them. So I think, and the aspect of what I do, it's and to be successful, it's no different than any other avenue of real estate.
Right.
It starts with your list of people that you know. Mm-hmm. You tell them what you do for a living, the help that you need. Please support me and my family and what I do, and I'm great at what I do. Pick me. And then also, because you have that same personality, whatever niche you're in, those clients are going to gravitate to you.
Yes, I agree. Do you have a lot of like real estate contacts from those years, or what is that like? Do you still like utilize those people, or like for ranches?
Yeah, they get blasted every daggone email. Let me tell you, everybody I know is on my email list. Like, it's from the moment I started real estate.
Yes, love it.
And that's really, a lot of people hesitate, but it's like, listen, it's all about who you know. It's all about who they know. At the end of the day, whoever you know, they're either buying real estate or they know somebody that is. So there's not a unqualified contact that you're networking or reaching out to.
Especially for that, like, I feel like for that large of, with the ranches, like how large they are, the more people you can touch with the marketing, the better.
Absolutely. And, you got to remember, too, it's a referral business. And I know people are like, oh, I have a friend in Arkansas. Why would I email them? Ironically, I did have a friend in Arkansas who knew someone that was going to sell their ranch in Arkansas and move to Texas, where I was. So I ended up gaining that client. We bought a ranch in Texas, a hunting ranch. I ended up referring them to an agent in Arkansas, and I ended up getting a referral commission for that listing in Arkansas that they sold. So, you cannot have a narrow mind. I mean, like they say in general, if your dreams don't scare you, you're not dreaming big enough. Mm-hmm. You literally cannot have a narrow mindset about the reach of the people in your Rolodex, in your contact list, your sphere of influence.
Oh, 100%. 100%. So how did you get started in ranch real estate? Was that in Florida or was that in Texas?
Oh, no, that's an interesting story as well. It definitely was a God thing. I'm sorry. Do you guys see?
Yes, I see this. Yeah.
Okay. I wanted to kind of just, that way you had an idea of what I look like. Since this was such a last minute with this StreamYard, Hallie, did you take in, you shared it, so I guess everybody can see it.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yeah, I can see it.
Awesome sauce. So that's me. This is actually my picture and who I am. This is a brochure of a listing that I'm actually working on right now. I'll get to that story, and we'll go back about this listing and kind of just giving an example of like the difference and what Farm and Ranch looks like as far as marketing and advertising.
Yes. Perfect.
I was in sales. I was in the outdoor industry business. I was in the marketing business. I actually had a freelance marketing firm, which is why I kind of geek out on the listing side and the marketing.
For sure.
Yeah, it's kind of like everybody has their gifts, and that's always been my strength. So, and I'm glad because Farm and Ranch is massive, heavy on marketing. Like it is all marketing when you pull the curtain back and you see what the larger ranch people have to do as far as photography, drone work, videos, the amount of magazines you have to be involved in. But so let me get back to how I got into Farm and Ranch real estate, or just real estate in general. I was in a different market, but one of my business mentors owned the Century 21 in our community. And, I actually got some really terrible. No, actually Kerrville. She now owns Fredericksburg, and she owns 3 offices now. She's a very successful woman, boss babe in real estate. So I was actually in Kerrville because that's where the training facility was that I was shooting at.
Oh, okay.
And so my family got a lot of devastating news, kind of all at one time. I found out my father had a very, not unique, but a rare form of leukemia. And so our family was dealing with that. However, a month later, my mother got a phone call that her mother had stage 4 pancreatic cancer.
Oh my gosh.
And we are a very tight-knit family. Like we are, it is like thick as thieves. We are just the epitome of a loyal, everybody, like everybody tightens up, puts on their, pulls up, their bootstraps, and, it's all hands on deck. So my mom called me with that news, and she said to me, I will never forget this. She said to me, I need you to come home. And I just remembered thinking, yeah, Mom, I can come home. She goes, no, I need you to come home.
Yeah.
Because if I have to go out of state and take care of my mother, and, obviously pancreatic cancer is very severe. It's a terrible thing. It is like a death sentence.
Yeah.
And she basically said, if I have to go up north and take care of and bury my mother, you are going to have to come here and take care of your father, because he still needs to get to treatment. He's going to need.
I think you cut out.
My parents live in Florida. Oh, I'm sorry. What was that?
Oh, sorry. I think it's my phone. I couldn't hear you. Okay. I think you're good now.
Awesome. So, basically what it boiled down to is I lived in Texas. My parents, my mom and dad are in Florida, and my mother's mother is in Pennsylvania. So I literally had to uproot my entire life, like put everything on hold, leave my job, and I'm just like in a panic. I'm like, okay, yeah, obviously all hands on deck. I'm going home. I'm going to take, this is awful.
Right.
But also in my mind, I'm like, how do you do this? Like, how do you literally put your life on pause? Your income, everything. So I went over to go see my business mentor who owned the Century 21, and I sat down with her and I told her everything. And she just looked at me and she's like, Lindsey, family comes first. At the end of the day, that is number one. Everything else will fall into place. She goes, I've always told you for years that you would be amazing in real estate. Go take care of your dad and your family. And when you have time, sit down on the couch, get your real estate license online. And when you come back, you can run our Farm and Ranch division, because that's what you know how to do.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, like this door opened. I never imagined I would even, wasn't even an option for me, not interested. Like, definitely my avenue has always been the outdoors and in my industry. So it was like to get this opportunity and to, just to have kind of this door crack open and be like, okay, yeah, that it gave me a boost of confidence. One, that I wasn't terrified to just not have a future and just shut everything down. So that is really how I got into real estate. It ended up that my grandmother ended up living for another year and a half. She did very well with her treatment, and got to live more of her life. My father, who has been cancer, you don't actually are ever free of leukemia, but he's been in remission for over 8 years now, which is a blessing from God.
Thank goodness. Thank goodness.
Yeah, and then that's just the whole miracle in itself. Normally leukemia, recurs and comes back after 5 years. So the fact that we've been getting positive reports, every time he goes in, is amazing. So that is my story. I came back, opened the farm and ranch division. We had our own office. We had our own team. It was going great. I was making a name for myself. And then what we called like the big dogs came knocking at my door. So it's one thing to sell, at a brokerage and at a franchise. It's another thing to be a part of a level of brokers that are known worldwide for selling ranches. And we're talking about, everybody knows about like the TV show, The Yellowstone, and now like the 4-6s. Like the people that sold the 4-6s to the guy that wrote Yellowstone, like these are the people that I was a part of being in that club, which was really cool because it's a whole nother level of this niche market.
Yeah.
That's completely elevated. So yeah. So when I was approached and I was kind of not ready. I was approached and I had people talking to me at that level for 2 years, and finally just kind of hit me like, wow, this is the big leagues. You obviously have made a name for yourself in the way you do business in this market. And so I, jumped on board. I ended up working for Texas Ranch Sales, which is like one of the top 5 in the world in sales. I think when I was right before I left, we as a team, as a brokerage, sold $350 million that year.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
What was like the average sales price of that? Like, can you give us an idea?
Average sales price is about $5 million. But they had ranches listed for $60 million. So, you're talking about production ranches.
Yeah.
2,000, 3,000, 4,000 acre ranches.
Insane. It's hard to even like think about.
Yeah, you're not talking about a ranchette on 5 acres. You're talking about the real deal, the real farm, the real ranch.
Yes.
The real agro business,
Yeah.
there. So, and kind of an example of that. This is one of my listings. It is this is my brochure. This is my brand. My group at EXP is called Texas Rural Land Sales.
I love your logo, by the way, with the armadillo.
Thank you. I love my armadillo. I want to change all my marketing to Team Dillo because I think people would love that.
I love that.
Yeah. So this is Deer Valley Farms. It is 30 unrestricted acres in Kirk County. It is actually in Kerrville, Texas. And obviously everybody knows the beautiful hill country, the landscape, the scenery, the views, the sunsets, and, just the location is prime. But this has a house, a guest house, an insane barn, and just absolutely stunning.
Property highlights.
These are some of the highlights in the photos.
Wow, looks absolutely beautiful. I like how they kind of made it like
a modern.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was about to say. I like how they kind of made it modern too.
So the builder is also the owner and the wife. So she went all out. I mean, this is stunning. She wanted to go modern instead of the traditional country ranch, hill country style.
Like rustic, yeah.
And just, the views are the selling point. So the massive windows, every room has an astounding view of Deer Valley.
So cute.
I mean, amazing kitchen. Let a woman design something and, it'll come out right.
Oh yeah.
But this is the showstopper. This barn, it's 5,000 square feet. And it is just immaculate. I mean, you could live in this daggone barn.
I have my jaw dropped. Let me pick it up. Okay, so we're all wondering how much is that one listed for?
Listing price is 3.6, and that will include that price does include furniture in the main home and some equipment.
Someone just commented and said, "Okay, call my husband." I gotta see who that was.
Now we do have, they are motivated. It is a very unique property. I do feel like they are negotiable. It just depends on what the clients want. We've had people come in and say that they are very interested in the furniture. Obviously, to replace all those items now, if you think about, if you just think about patio furniture, it all adds up. But the fact that you can buy it turnkey, or if you want to bring in your own, also if it's too modern, because the builder is the owner, it's mostly aesthetics. Outside of changing, you don't, because of how it's laid out, you can actually add more hill country style decor,
right,
changing
the
out the
builder
fixtures,
could do some work on it,
like adding rock facade. Because in the end of the day, when you have a ranch, there's no other ranch like it. It's like your fingerprint. There's only one. So when you have a custom ranch, you're talking about amenities and styles that are really to one person. And so, also when you're selling ranches, thinking outside the box, being extremely flexible, and yeah, definitely. I went over and we have designs to make it a little more rustic or country, or kind of give it that Jackson Hole feel. Because at the end of the day, when you look at building, as long as you don't have to change the roof line, it's basically all aesthetics.
Right.
And the fact that the homeowner is also the builder, she knows what she can and cannot do. So, I always tell people, like, you're never going to find exactly what you want unless you build it. So, location is key. That's number one. Access is really number two. And you can pretty much build out or change stuff after that. So you can't really change their...
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
So, access, location, when you deal with rural properties, it's like, okay, the road to my driveway, what is it? Is it a county road? Is it highly maintained? If there's an issue with the road, how quickly is it going to be taken care of? This is more of a horse facility or agricultural facility. You're going to be driving in a trailer. So is that road going to be safe and easy to get to? Being able to get access, we're in the hill country. Do you have to pass any crossings? If we get, we are the flash flood capital of the world, or of North America, not the world, ironically, but we're talking about North America. This is an actual statistic. Most people don't know that. The Texas hill country has more flash floods than like Canada, Mexico, and all in North America, because of the hills and valleys we have in such close proximity.
I had no idea.
A lot of people remember the Memorial Day flood in Wimberley and Blanco, and some of the other floods in Kerrville and in Junction and all that. It just literally, it's just a rainstorm that comes in and sits too long. And you're talking about, maybe 500 feet difference of water running down as fast as possible all in one place. So that's another thing when we talk about access is, the in and out, not just it's located here, but what does the road look like? Is it a private road? Is there a private road agreement? Is it an easement? Is it an easement that is actually deeded? So if there's an agreement and records on file. How close are you to town? Because people love the idea of living out in the country, but also too, how far are you away from the hospital? How far are you away from an airport? These are all questions when I have buyers or I have a listing I need to be prepared for, because these are real lifestyle. I'm living there. What does it look like to live there?
Right.
How far is it from a grocery store? And that's really going to affect the day-to-day of the buyer. And so understanding that listing and all those options and that lifestyle helps you target a buyer, or helps you overcome objections. Because at the end of the day, we're all trying to just negotiate a deal and find the perfect landowner for the perfect piece of property. It's like being a matchmaker.
You're exactly right. Love that. I love that terminology. I've always been, for me, I've always been in like sales positions, but real estate, obviously it is sales, but for me, it's always felt more like matchmaking, especially when you have a buyer. Listing, it's like, yes, it's selling, but that's more like marketing, like you said. So yeah, I like that analogy that you used.
No, thanks. And you can see just from the brochure, there. Let me see if I can share my screen. So let me just show you in the grand scheme of, oh goodness, girls, you guys are killing me. I'm having to change everything up here.
Sorry.
No, I just like I said, StreamYard is awesome. Super excited about it. But once you start trying to share stuff, it's like, okay,
yeah.
Giving it.
If you want to send it to me, I might be able to do it too.
I can share it as a video. I was going to share my screen so I could show my website, unless you wanted to do it. Pull my website and the video. The video for this is there, and so you can kind of see just that next level, the advanced marketing style, what we use for that. And hopefully I didn't just remove did I jump off of?
Yes, that's okay though.
Sorry,
I'll invite you back.
I'm going back on.
Okay, cool.
And I'm sorry, I'm sick, so you guys are not going to see my pretty face.
I'm just thankful we got you on. Okay, so while you're pulling that up, I guess I want you to continue on your story so you started your own brokerage, correct? And then
yeah, so I was working for Texas Ranch Sales. I sold $12 million in ranches in 6 months, and I was on the cusp of getting my broker's license, got my broker's license, and really analyzed my business. And I was like, obviously, because marketing is heavy, a part of your agreements with some of those big brokerages, they cover the marketing expenses, and we're talking about $15,000 to market a listing. If you think about all the advertising in magazines, print, massive accounts at land.com and Land Broker for MLS, their Rolodex of clients. It's just, that's what it takes. So you give up a very hefty, and I'm telling you, extremely hefty part of your commission. And at the same time, majority of the clients out of that 12 million I sold in 6 months, almost all of them but one were mine. And so in my mind, I was like, okay, I know how to build a better mousetrap based on everything I've learned. I feel like I could maybe help another agent in this business to do the same job, but maybe get more money, more commission.
Right.
But I ran into the same issues that most brokerages have. You start crunching the numbers on marketing, and then the office, and then your errors and omissions insurance, and all of a sudden you understand why those brokerage groups, those independents, have such severe splits, because there's just no way that you can offer all those. And this is kind of my EXP story. As I was crunching these numbers, trying to make it all work, Tammy Pack, who is an amazing ambassador for EXP, she actually owned 3 years ago, on top of the world, owned her own brokerage. She's also a licensed attorney, and had her brand, had her brand and 30 agents. And she moved her entire brand to EXP. And I'm like, wow, for her to take and do that, there has to be something I'm missing. So I called her up. We sat down for 2 days. She told me her story, which it took me 2 days to make the decision, but it took her 6 months. So between her 6 months and my 2 days, I really realized that bringing my brokerage group over to EXP, it checked all the boxes, and not only what I wanted to do for other agents, but there's also like 7 other levels of income and that outside of selling stuff. Right. And no other brokerage offers other opportunities with your real estate license than EXP. And I can say that because I'm actually taking advantage of 3 of them right now. And so I kind of break it down to people. It's like, okay, you basically get to have a brokerage in the avenue in the setup of a brokerage group.
Right.
You don't have to have the brokerage liability. You get the support. All your agents will get training. You get training. You have support on top of also supporting your team members.
Right.
You get health insurance. You have the opportunity for revenue share. The other aspect of it, say you need to take a step back. There's other opportunities to make income with your license, whether it be a mentor. You know, you can sit back and be a mentor to other agents and receive an additional commission. Mm-hmm. You know, you can run a team like I did. So not only am I selling, I also am running a team. So that's like being a mini broker. Mm-hmm. You can be a coach. So also getting paid for coaching. You can pull yourself out of production and actually get paid to coach other agents. Mm-hmm. Some people, you know, want to completely step back, or they're not good at sales. You know, that whole sales mentality and networking. You can become a support member. So like being a TC. Mm-hmm. For several agents or a group. There's a lot of agents that are doing transaction coordination right now, and it is a great income. Using your license and your knowledge that you already have, but in a different avenue of real estate. And then the other option is EXP staff. So EXP is a worldwide company. They do have staff jobs. Mm-hmm. So just like me becoming a managing broker, that was me taking advantage of that staff position. It's really amazing because EXP World Holdings is an outstanding company. And so when I transitioned, this just gave me another opportunity outside of selling. So right now I'm looking at these buckets of revenue. You know, I'm selling real estate on my own. I have a team. I'm also a mentor, working on coaching. We'll get there. And then I'm staff and agent attraction. So I have 5 buckets of revenue generating funnels that I'm working at. And this is the opportunity EXP provides. So for me, EXP is not a hard sell. It's a no freaking brainer. You cannot unsee the opportunities. The sky's the limit. And it's not it's a one size fits all. Like it's, you know, any other brokerage in my mind, I'm like, all you can do is sell stuff in other brokerages. That's it. Right. Buying and selling. So your income is based on the market. Yeah. And the fact that my income, not all my income streams are based on the real estate market, or based on the economy or the stock market. So for me, that's a mind-blowing concept, which is why EXP is so successful, why our founders and our CEO is absolutely amazing and brilliant. And that's just that avenue. Let's not even talk about the tech side and the health side and the success side. So
yes. So you are now a managing broker for Texas, where we have 9,000 agents, and you're building out the farm and ranch division. Is that going to be just for Texas, or is that going to be like for all of EXP?
The goal, the big goal, the big dream is all of EXP. Mm-hmm. And mind you, I have to remind everyone, because they're like, how do we not have a land division? How do we not have a farm and ranch division? EXP was, you know, founded outside of the market crash of 2008. So we are a very, very, very young mm-hmm. company. However, everything that's been done at EXP has been very deliberate. So trying to wrap our head around, hey, if we're going to do this division, if we're rolling out a new division, we have to do it right. And that's what EXP and its founders are looking for. As you know, we just started our luxury line. Mm-hmm. Commercial's been doing extremely well, and it's in commercials, its own brokerage. That's the other thing people don't realize. Like commercials, its own brokerage. Actually, I'm going to share this link for y'all since I'm having a hard time. Here, I'm going to put it in the. Oh. If you want to share that link, Hallie, that was the link I was trying to share and upload, but
don't have my. It to me, or where did you send it?
I sent it in the private chat.
It's in the private chat right here.
Ah, I see.
Okay. Yeah.
So I can copy this and present. Share screen.
Yes, I actually don't have mine set up to share screen yet since I came late to the game.
Can you see? Can you see this?
Absolutely, I can.
Okay, cool.
So this is just an example of, when you deal in a very niche market that is high on advertising, every avenue of marketing and advertising and photography and videography and drone work and all those things. I mean, it is just a laundry list of how you can represent this property because it's so hard to see something that big and with that many improvements. And also it's almost impossible to explain to somebody in 40 photos why it's worth, 3.6 million.
Right. Because that's always going to be people's pushback.
So just a strategy in advertising, how you really have to level up your game because your competitors are at that level too.
Wow, this is gorgeous. I want that view. So this is in Kerrville?
Yes, it's in Kerr County and it's in Kerrville, Texas.
Okay.
And it's only actually 6 minutes from downtown. It literally is right outside of town, which is absolutely amazing.
So you've got the land, but you're also close to town. Ugh.
Yeah, this thing offers everything: the luxury house, the horse barn, the views, the close land to town, but in the country, a pond, water feature, an arena.
Oh, the arena! I didn't even see that. Wow. And this one is for sale right now.
It's for sale right now. I actually just put it up in Land Broker MLS, Lands of Texas, and right now I'm ready. We're very excited because it's such a show-stopping property. It's absolutely beautiful. And the other half of it too, it's not just about selling the listing. It's all about advertising the listing and showing people exactly the quality of work that you provide.
Right.
And that's some things like in our farm and ranch classes, which I'm going to open up. We're going to start StreamYarding and doing it on all avenues. So definitely want to continue to share because we will be talking about how to leverage listings, not just, hey, I got the listing, what next? How can you strategize to get more buyer calls on your listing? Because how many buyers does this not, the price point doesn't work for, or, the location doesn't work, or, it's too modern, but you can take that client, you can take that, buyer, that potential buyer, and turn them into a new buyer client.
Right. Can you hear me?
Absolutely.
Okay. Sorry. I keep getting my Wi-Fi. I need to switch companies so bad.
What's funny is my the Clubhouse, it's saying the same thing. So maybe it's just kind of an app issue right now.
It might be. They're still working out kinks. It's a young app for sure. Well, that's it's just your journey has been so insane, and I love if for God forbid if something were to happen to your dad again and you needed to go take care of him, I feel like you have everything that you have built now would still keep running. I mean, obviously there's some things you need to do, I'm sure, but you have, I feel like this platform that EXP has provided you still have revenue incoming, even if you weren't able to be physically working, Yeah,
that's a beautiful part about those other revenue streams is you're making money while you sleep. You know,
Yes.
if you ever always, you know, I follow a ton of billionaire mindsets. And one of the things they talk about is multiple revenue streams, because not every, you know, the market fluctuates. Your making money in those different avenues will fluctuate. So it's kind of like you have to have, you know, while one's down, you need another one that's up. And
Right.
so, you know, I think somebody said in one of the forums, like, you need 7 sources of income. Most billionaires have 7 sources of income.
I've heard
So
that, yeah.
knowing that one company independently provides me 5 that I'm taking advantage of right now, is super cool. And then also, you know, like I said, reaching out to coaching and public speaking, and then, you know, digging more into doing CE classes and actual real estate training. You know, the sky's the limit. So yes, it's, you know, at the end of the day, it's about being a business owner, and, you know, what does your license and your business provide you, and how can you get more out of it? And so just the partnership with EXP did that. And bar none, there's nothing else like it out there. And that is why we're successful. That's why we have 9,000 and 100 and some agents in Texas, and 11,000 agents in California, and 10,000 agents in Florida. It just, you know, and 85,000 in the world with 24 countries. So it's just, it is working. But like I said, when it comes to the farm and ranch division, it is going to be a slow rollout. Texas, because of myself, because I'm, you know, kicking this can down the road. It is my goal. Texas will be, you know, a test site, because when we do an official rollout, as large as they did with luxury, as large as they did with, you know, commercial, you know, we need to make sure that everything works. And to me, that is responsible business management and ownership. And we want to do it right and work out the kinks. So the agents that, you know, come on board, and the partnerships we have with the new farm and ranch brokerages that turn their brokerage groups over to EXP, they have a home and a system that they know already works because it's been proven.
Right. I've got a question from the audience from Brad Robbins. I believe Brad he's in Texas, and I'm blanking. Oh, wait, let me see. I think it might be he's in Central Texas. Brad, let me know in the comments where you're from. But he asked you, Lindsey, for marketing, who do you have prepare your farm and ranch listings for showing boundaries or potential boundaries? Does that question make sense? Can you hear me? Oh, she's muted. You're muted, Lindsey.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, thank you for catching that.
Yes.
You know, lots of technology going back and forth.
Yes.
Do me one quick favor. Can you add me to the stream on
Oh, yes. Sorry.
the streamer?
Here we go.
See my pretty photo.
Yes,
there you go, guys.
with Ruth.
We're
We're all dog girls in here.
I know. I have way too many. Okay, so absolutely. When it comes to any type of mapping, boundary mapping, layers, oh gosh, I can't even begin to start to tell you. Water features, floodplain, the railroad commission, transmission lines, gas lines, you name it. Anything you can find on a map if you don't have access to a survey. I am a huge fan of MapRight. I have a MapRight account. It's pretty affordable. I'm actually working right now, the Farm and Ranch, you know, the Farm and Ranch group, myself, we are working on negotiating a deal with MapRight. If you haven't seen MapRight, please go check it out. They have a 7-day free trial. And also they have amazing video tutorials. So, I mean, bar none, I've been using it since day one. And if you're in the farm and ranch business and selling property, giving a detailed map is huge. And the features that they offer just paints an amazing picture, not only for a buyer, but also too, when you are, you know, doing that preliminary interview with the seller, you know what you're getting into. And sometimes that's something you don't want to get into. Hey, listen, this property has a lot of issues and we need to resolve those before we even decide to go on the market. Right. And so like that is bar none. Like boundaries are simple. Like that is like basic MapRight. It's all the other stuff that will blow your mind.
Okay, Brad just came in to
Lindsey.
speak.
Sorry, Lindsey. I'm sitting here watching my daughter cheerleading. But apologize for asking it again. I have a MapRite account. Perhaps I don't know how to use it to the fullest extent. I get frustrated because not everything is up to date as much as I would like it. I find that Landglide provides a little bit more updated information, but as far as accentuating the property lines and the boundaries, like you'll see on some of the marketing, that's really the piece that I was kind of after to show if you really wanted to get in there and do that. Maybe I just haven't found the tutorials to show you how to do that yet.
Okay, so here's where you are on that. MapRite's boundary lines merge from appraisal districts, and as we all know, appraisal districts are not exact, not even close.
No.
And it also depends on the county. They don't always update, so that information is fed through that arena. The beautiful thing that MapRite does is that to get exact boundary lines, because I don't care what mapping system you're using, you can't guarantee the boundary lines in the mapping system. You can only guarantee boundary lines by a survey. So in those scenarios where it may be a little off or the county hasn't updated, things like that, I always reach out to MapRite and let them know. And sometimes it's out of their hands because the county is the county, and these podunk middle of nowhere places, it is what it is. Half their stuff isn't even online. It's still in the basement of the courthouse. But there's this geo tool in MapRite where you can take and layer the actual survey underneath the map, and you can make the adjustments to where it's more exact. However, I would never, ever guarantee to a buyer or a buyer's agent that the mapping system is exact. All the mapping systems stay in their closets.
I'm with you 100%. I just didn't know where that geo tool was.
You know what?
As far as the data, I'm referencing more of ownership. I find it to be off more so.
And that's all the counties. That has nothing to do with MapRite. They are limited to the county.
And how often it's reported back. I think they update every quarter?
No, it depends on the county. Some counties haven't updated in 3 years. It's bad. Like I have dealt. What community? What county are you in?
Williamson County, Travis County, and Mountain County.
Yeah, some of those are not going to update. And like I said, you're talking about human error. So all MapRite does and all these other forums, they're merging with these third-party forums. So that's where you're kind of stuck at. And that's why also when you're talking about ownership, we have a partnership with Ranchers Title, and they will get the property market ready, which also includes kind of a preliminary title search to where you can get that exact information. So you should never base your legal description or ownership description based on the county. It needs to be done by pulling the deed officially. And if you have a great partnership with a title company, that's awesome. If you don't, Ranchers Title is my number one because they do offer that for listing agents.
So do they have that is that just somebody or is that something that they have to do?
We have it at EXP. It's a partnership that I've had for a long time, and they are absolutely amazing. So Ranchers Title exclusively does title and sales in farm and ranch statewide. So, because obviously having one point of contact that understands all the types of issues you will run into pulling title and also resolving it. That's the biggest thing. Most title companies are not going to resolve clouds on titles. They're going to tell the parties, hey, figure it out and go get an attorney to figure it out. They have farm and ranch attorneys on staff that own ranches and have been farm and ranch attorneys for a long time. So it's all about providing a service, which is why they're one of my preferred partners. Definitely, I'll get you the owner's info. They love working with all of our team members here at eXp Realty. So it's one of those things. You can't depend on some of these third-party sources for actual factual information. You have to go to the source of those documents. So anytime I'm looking for the facts, I go straight to the source and pulling it either from the deed from the courthouse yourself, or better yet, getting it approved through a title company so you know you have it. And then also too, you've kind of figured out, hey, is there a cloud on the title we can fix before listing?
Does that help, Brad?
Absolutely. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it. So Rancher's Title, is that out of Uvalde?
Yes, it's they're based in Uvalde. They've been the husband who owns it. He's not only a 7th generation Uvaldian. His father was also a farm and ranch real estate attorney. So they own ranches. They understand the business. They know how to overcome, all those farm and ranch objections and issues that are going to come up. There's a laundry list of things that can go wrong when pulling title and trying to get clear title, especially if you have a lender involved. So having the people on staff to, we're deal makers, not deal breakers. Let's make sure the buyer and the seller are both comfortable with everything when they get to the closing table. And the fact that they understand what it's like to be landowners, they can talk to them and they have that confidence. So yes, absolutely. Rancher's Title. They also have an app where you can do a seller's net sheet and a buyer's net sheet, which to me is huge when you're talking about giving that level of expectation and no surprises of this is kind of what you're looking at with a closing table. Because there's a lot of extra fees sometimes. Sometimes we're paying for a survey. Sometimes we're splitting the title commitment. So that's another feature, the app that they have is really that you can lean on. And anytime you sell a ranch, the first question I ask my buyer or my seller is who is their farm and ranch real estate attorney. There's too much money and too many things that can go wrong. They don't have to hire them, but they need to know who we're going to if things gets a little south or crazy. So I'd rather have them and not need them and need them and not have them.
Absolutely.
Amen. And you said they are statewide and they can pass stuff all over, right?
So because they specialize in farm and ranch, they work with the local title companies. And this is something sometimes when you get people that are stuck in the residential aspect where they're like, oh, the seller declares who the title company is. No, everything in real estate is negotiable. That's why it's blank. They can ask, and they normally put in the MLS who their seller prefers, but actually normally that's the seller's agent prefers. What we do is listen, the title company works in conjunction with the local title company to pull the information, and then they're basically the concierge and the go-to. So if you have listings, if you have ranches all over the state in multiple counties, you're only having to deal with one title company and one point of contact. And the level of service is consistent. Because at the end of the day, your level of service that you provide your clients and how they remember that transaction is really how they give you a review and they review you to other individuals. So having control over customer service is huge, especially when there's so many variables involved, which is why, actually Rancher's Title was born. Because you have that concierge service, you have that lead title escrow officer, that you can call and say, oh, the ranch in Travis County is this, and the ranch in Gillespie County is this, and the ranch over in Zavala County is this, and you can talk to one person who is navigating, all of those properties for you. So, that's kind of another thing. That's one objection I get on the other side is they're not familiar. And they're always that mindset that some of these agents have been ingrained that you use the county title company. And that is not the case. You do not have to use the county title company. You do not have to settle for their timelines, their level of service and communication, because let's face it, I'm sure we've all been in deals where the title company was absolutely horrible, took forever, never got an answer. And so to be able to guarantee that level of service to my clients levels me up against my competitors.
100%. So Lindsey, we're right at the end of our hour. I wanted to ask you, for those who are listening to the replay or joining in, and aren't in farm and ranch real estate yet, but are interested in doing it, What are the first steps they need to take for education, and then also for lead generation?
Well, first things first, if you have no experience in the farm and ranch world, you really need to know the land and where you're going to sell. So if you're going to sell, regionally in your county, you need to know a lot about your county. You need to know about your dirt, and you need to know about your trees, and you need to know about your water tables and your aquifers. So there's a lot of independent study there. Also, bar none, you have to have a mentor. Like, you have to have a farm and ranch advisor that basically you can shadow, because you cannot read all this information in a book. A lot of it is boots on the ground, walking the land and seeing the different scenarios that each ranch has to offer. And then on top of your, geological area, I'm in the Texas Hill Country, kind of navigate through about 7 counties. Also, you're talking about what type of ranches do you sell? There's so many different types of farm and ranch and land, divisions. So for me, it's hunting properties. It's recreational property. So what is your background in the expertise of that field, and what is your list of service providers? Because truly, your vendors and your service providers are your sources.
Yes. They're like your team.
Like, you're licensed to sell real estate, and they're your team. So as a real estate agent, you are the source of the sources. So understanding what sources you need to have to understand and get those questions asked, because you will never know all the answers. We're learning things every day, even the most seasoned brokers in this business, because it's constantly changing. Even our laws in land are changing. So one, you need a phenomenal mentor. That mentor, an advisor, will show you what you need to know about the dirt, and selling to clients and dealing with buyers, and that buyer checklist and the seller's checklist, as well as the vendors who are going to help you answer all those. And the sphere of influence is one of those things. Like, what connection do you have to land? For me, I have a Rolodex of it's the same thing with general real estate. It's your sphere of influence first. So what part of your sphere of influence is going to be a land buyer?
Right.
And then, what part of who you are has to do with land, where you're going to run into those people, or are you going to start? Are you going to belong to the Exotic Wildlife Club? Are you going to belong to the Cattlemen's Association? Are you going to get in particular type of farming and land? Are you going to be an expert at vineyards? So, excuse me.
Oh,
I know. I'm glad we're almost done. I held it together. So it's the same basic steps. You have to learn the business, and then one, is that a lifestyle in a market you can be passionate about it? Because you guys know you can't fake this job, and you can't fake the knowledge, and you can't fake the passion. So if this is something you're interested in and have a passion for, you probably have some sort of connection to land in some way,
right?
And that'll just open it up. But truly, a lot of your homework is finding somebody that can take you under their wing. So, we'll make an announcement, had a major farm and ranch group move over. So we'll have that here shortly.
Nice.
So that's kind of my short on that.
Awesome. Okay, so I just want to let our audience know too that that you run Farm and Ranch Fridays at 11 p.m. or 11 a.m. on Fridays in the EXP world, and we can give guest passes for that if anyone's interested. And you're going to be doing them on StreamYard too?
We are, okay, that is unlike you just throwing it out there. Probably maybe in 2 or 3 more. We're going to test it out first. I'm not going to throw my speakers to the wolves like you guys
Sorry,
did on this
Lindsey.
one. You're lucky it's me, and I love you, Hallie. But starting 2023, we will be on multiple avenues open to outside of the EXP world.
Okay, so if anyone's interested in hearing more about Farm and Ranch, DM one of us, send us a message, whatever platform you like, reach out and we can get you a guest pass. Last or 2 weeks ago, you had on, I'm blanking on their names now, but the team from DFW area. Do you want to say their name real quick?
Parker County Lynch Legacy.
Lynch Legacy Real Estate. Yes.
Real estate group.
And
yes,
they are two women in EXP that just sold $100 million ranch in the Fort Worth area, which is the largest EXP sale that we've had, I believe. And I mean, that's 100 million. Like, it's hard to even like comprehend that. It's amazing that it was two women too. I love it. So
yeah,
that's just a little
phenomenal story. Well, it's a phenomenal story. We probably will, you know, as we morph, I'm going to have them come back and talk because just that whole, and you know, just the story is beautiful. Being women, farm and ranch, really elevating two communities, two towns, working together with ranchers and the Economic Development Board. Just I can't even begin to tell you. It just was amazing to listen to, and I can't wait to have them back on to speak.
Oh my gosh, they were just so amazing and like the pinnacle of problem solving. And I think it took, what, 2 years for the deal to go through?
Yeah, it was 2 years from the moment they had the contract escrowed and then to closing.
So crazy. But they got it done. I love it. Well, good.
Yeah, it's the one business where you can be a millionaire in 30 days. Well, and to their credit, it took 2 years.
2 years,
but
yes. I love it.
But you know, hey, it's an amazing business. It's an amazing lifestyle. Definitely need to add this to your portfolio or to your real estate group. But just wanted to let you know that, you know, at EXP we are growing, and that's going to be our new rollout. So hang in there. If you have any questions, I'm here. Perfect. Sharing is caring. We love our team. And thank you so much, ladies. I just, you know, boss babes. Let me tell you, women get it done.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you so much, Lindsey.
So much, Lindsey, for coming on. You've been so amazing. And I will say Lindsey's been pretty sick this week. So for her to hop on, even when she's under the weather, I just appreciate her so much. We've got her links in our link tree. She's Lindsey Hollin on Instagram. She's on Facebook. We've got her YouTube up here. She's Texas Rural Land Sales, brokered by EXP. If anybody has any further questions, just go ahead and reach out and we can connect you to wherever you need to be. Again, we're the source of all sources. I love that. I love that term, Lindsey.
Oh, hey, sorry. I wanted to let you know, also put my real estate group website in there because there's contact information and things like that where they can link up with me.
Your Texas,
Texas Rural, RURAL, land and sales with an S.com. So you can see my team, see what I do, see listings, and also in about us and our team, my contact information is there. So we can schedule a meeting if anybody has any questions.
Perfect. I am putting it up right now. And I'll put it in our link tree. Perfect. Well, I guess if nobody has any other questions in the audience, we are through. And thank you again, Lindsey. This has been such a treat and so knowledgeable.
That was awesome. Thank you. Thank you, ladies, for having me.
Thanks, ladies.
I'm excited. We will do this again.
Yes, 100%. 100%.
Happy Monday, everybody.
Happy Monday.
So have a good rest of your week.